All right, good day, good afternoon. You know what? I'm not even going to pretend like I'm V because it's not even worth it at this moment. So this is CJ, and I'm very excited today to be joined with Rocoin Crypto Mayhem, with Cowboy Crypto Z, and Frank. So guys,
Dude, you just made it sound so disappointing. Like we got these cool cats, and then Frank. Like
well,
like
that's how V
sorry
does.
guys, sorry guys. He's one of the owners of the company, so like we had to let him on the show. You know.
We had to let him on.
It's actually go ahead, guys. It's kind of becoming like a branding thing. It's like Cowboy
Frank.
Crypto Z and Frank. I like it.
Oh man, it's
But
my
I'm going
talent.
to turn it over to you guys. I know you guys got a lot
Thanks,
to
buddy.
discuss, the charts, all the information. So you
And
guys go for it.
you've got to work on the cannabis, the reefer, the weed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Oh, sorry. That was a joke we were telling before we got on air. So sorry about that.
Yeah. So
I'll
go for
explain
it.
later. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks so much, CJ, for putting us on. We don't have V here today, which I know is painful, but I'm excited. We've got our traders from our Watch Us trade room at thecryptoschool.io. And everything we do, you guys could be a part of at thecryptoschool.io. We've got some awesome subscriptions and products and videos and classes and all kinds of stuff that you can get involved there with.
Yes.
So this has been
1,000%.
yeah. Yeah, we were talking about a Cowboy and I were talking about how we could try to like bring V into it even though he's not here. And so we're going to say all of these sayings. We're going to do random accents from the Middle East, talk about our goat brothel, various things like that, just so that he feels like he's here. So but this was a crazy crypto week. Like we all thought we were starting to even out and get into some normal territory, and then this week was like the news was just so extreme.
The
And
FUD hit, as it always does.
it hit big time, and
Yep.
it's actually if you really take it all together, we always have our suspicions about what's going on behind the scenes. But one of the things that's cool this week is we actually have just news right out there that explains a lot of what we've been going through the last couple months with crypto market, especially the Mt. Gox story. That actually really tells the tale. It's like we've all been saying, oh, there's major manipulation going on here. And then it's amazing. It's like the manipulator came out and was like, oh, by the way, it's me. I've been manipulating. It's like, how often do you get that where someone just comes out and says, by the way, I'm the one who's been manipulating the market? I mean, that's not what the Mt. Gox people said, but essentially, if you look at what they did, they are the ones behind this incredibly difficult down market that we've been having for the last, month or so.
Well, usually the bad guy comes out and says they did it at the end of either Columbo or Murder, She Wrote. That's where the bad guy is.
Yeah, it's crazy. So you guys want to start with the markets and then we'll get into the news, or do you want to start with the news? You guys tell me.
You know what? I think we can just touch on the markets. The markets suck. Okay, let's go to the news.
Yeah, not the most fun week. And the news really tells the story though of what's going on with the market. So you want to start off with showing us our BTC chart?
Yeah, let's do that. So we should be looking at the daily right now. Is my mouse moving, guys? Are we on the right page?
I see.
Yeah, you're on the daily.
So on the daily chart, we're seeing an awful lot of bearishness. We had the big run up back in December back here. I'll shrink this. We can see the top. It's always fun to see the top. And now it's
that beautiful top.
She loved that top. Right, that's right. We're not too far from there. Xena took profit, and part of the thing at the cryptoschool.io is we talk about how we decide when to take profit, and usually it works out for the better. But we took some profit here, we took some profit here, and then on the way down, we had the big mess that happened a couple of weeks ago. And then, there was the hopefulness, and here we go. Oh my goodness, it's going to come back up, and it just kept bumping up against this wall. This wall is it's a resistance of 11,802, and it's an older resistance. So usually the old supports become resistances, or they become supports again. It's kind of like a key level in the market, and then we see this big red dump. So we've had this massive dump over here on the right hand side, And it's painful. These things happen, and there's been some reasons behind it. So I know the news that we're going to discuss talks about that. I've got some more detailed charts so we can kind of get into some of that stuff in a little bit, but I think, suffice it to say, the markets suck right now. Although, now what we do on the in the watch as trade room is we will, Crypto Z and I will sit there. We'll say, hey, I'm going to buy here. I'm going to sell there. That's live trading. We actually will live put in there what we're going to do. And yesterday I saw something happen with Litecoin. I saw a big volume spike. And when I saw that and I saw a few other things, I told everybody, hey, I think it's going to drop to this level. And when it drops into this level, I'm going to buy it. So it went up to around 19 something, 0.019 Bitcoin or so. And then I said, I'm going to buy it when it drops to 0.0184, which is a nice percentage down from there. But because we had a massive volume spike and I saw a couple of other things, I thought, even in this market, even in this bear crazy market, I think Litecoin's going to run. And lo and behold, it's up from there more than 5%, almost 6 or 7%.
Nice.
In a market like this, where everything's going down, those who entered, at that point, they are up 5%. Personally, I put a nice hefty sum in there. I bet heavy. But that's what we do, and it's entertainment. It's not for any kind of investment advice that we put these out. People just want to see what we're doing.
Yeah, extremely educational.
Very educational. I mean, people are going to do their own research, and we're not giving out investment advice.
Yeah, I got to hand it to you guys. It's been, it's funny because we opened our Watch Us Trade Slack group, which is a paid subscription we have. And we opened it in the middle of, or even close to the beginning of, this difficult market that we've been in. You guys have just been there every day. You've had interesting, helpful things to say. People have still made money in there. Of course, it's for education, entertainment only, but still, some people have been learning things. And so I got to hand it to you guys. I was even watching some of the I'll just duck in and see what people are talking about. And a few people were, not naming any names, saying, hey, we love this other room that they're involved in, but man, they just drop off the planet when the market goes down. But these guys are still here, which is just such a great trait. You guys aren't afraid of the market. You're not afraid to look for opportunities, even when things are pretty lame in terms of the overall market. So
correct.
I hand it to you guys.
And one thing we were talking about last live session was the fact that it's not just about the trades to help people make money, but it's also the trades to help or the calls, I should say, to help people mitigate loss. And I think that's another thing that's very undervalued. A lot of people will hold, for example, their VEN, right? We told everybody in that room to, let go of VEN around 45. Even though it sucks because VEN is a great coin, and at one point it was, at 61. That stop loss at 45 lessened the blow. So people save 10% of their bag just from that stop loss and having
that actually helped me yesterday. I had some things I was looking at, and I thought, why don't I look? It's so funny how you forget what you have, and it's like, oh, we have this wonderful trade room. Maybe I'll go in there and see if they've got any advice on this. And sure enough, I was kind of looking at what am I going to put into this other coin that I really like. I forget which one it was, but there was a couple of my favorites were really on sale the last couple days, and I used your VEN call as a sign, as a signal, saying, okay, this is going to be what I pour into this other thing because it's looking like it's going to dump. Whereas the coins that I was really interested in and tokens I was really interested in kind of had already dumped, so it's great timing. So why don't we talk a little bit about this news, and I want to get your thoughts about this. By the way, Z was in our chat. I don't know if it was Z or Cowboy. I think it was Z. Was in our Watch Us Trade room with this news. You guys were right on top of it. I was like busy doing some other things, and Cowboy was sending me messages about this news. One of them is, and this is how I wrote it in my notes: market crash solved ? Right? We have this Mt. Gox story, and Bix Weir, friend of Rogue Money, who has a show with V on Wednesdays. Bix Weir had a great video on his own YouTube channel about this. And I was hinting at this before. It's pretty amazing when you can, you know, it's one thing to say we think someone's manipulating the market behind the scenes. It's another thing to have, you know, just the most clear, crystal clear evidence of it. And what he was pointing out, you know, for people who don't know, Mt. Gox was an exchange. When was it? When did it crash? Or was hacked, I guess is what they said. I don't know.
I think 2013.
13. Okay, yeah. So, and there's been, I think they're under investigation.
2014. Yeah,
2014,
It was yeah.
And they're in bankruptcy. They have a trustee who's handling a bankruptcy trustee who's handling the finances, and he just revealed to the world that he sold about $400 million worth of Bitcoin over, what was it, the last 2 months. And then the thing that Bix brought out is that not only was he selling it on the open market, and our expectation in a situation like this would usually be, if they're going to sell a massive amount of Bitcoin, that they're going to do it in an auction. But in this case, they're dumping it on the open market, which of course is going to kill the price. And it's been over this period of time when the market has really been struggling. And so the trustee, the bankruptcy trustee, I think I've got that right? Was pouring $400 million worth of Bitcoin into the open market. And I, not only that, but doing it at key, at times when Bitcoin was hitting key support levels. And so it hits a key support level. If it holds it and goes up, that's at least a little bit bullish, right? If it can't hold the support and goes down, that's what we call bearish. And so if the market is hitting a key support and you throw a bunch of Bitcoin on the market, that creates a very bearish situation. That decreases the value of Bitcoin. And so from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, that's exactly what he was doing. They were throwing the Bitcoin on the market at just the worst time, which, you know, I don't, you know, I'm not going to assume that this trustee was a trading expert, but you've got to imagine that someone with a clue behind the scenes there understands how markets work even a little bit, which may, you know, someone would pop their head up and say, hey, maybe we shouldn't sell at this incredibly horrible time to throw millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin onto the market, which makes you wonder if the whole thing wasn't just deliberate to bring the price down.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think?
Well, Z, didn't you also say something about how a lot of people across a lot of exchanges went into Tether, like just before?
Yeah. So
Interesting.
Yeah. So one of the factors that at least that I've realized is that during that exact moment in which we saw this giant flash crash, there was I forgot how much million. I think it was like $12 million worth of Bitcoin in each exchange across the board. I'm talking about like even the weirdest exchanges, right? Even like Mercadox, which is like, you know, no one uses.
These obscure little exchanges. Yeah,
it's obscure little exchanges. And there was a huge sell-off in most of these exchanges, to the point where a large exchange like Binance started to have to halt things.
Wow.
And there was just there's just FUD upon FUD upon FUD. And afterwards, there was some hack regarding API codes for Binance.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that it was sort of a joint effort, personally, that sort of stalled Binance out, and it caused a lot of issues to rise up. And it happened like throughout a number of exchanges.
Now you're talking specifically about what happened this week.
Correct. So this week there was multiple layers of FUD that happened to the whole Bitcoin situation. One was the rapid sell-off.
Yeah, the Binance thing, and Binance Crypto Crypt Zero, who has a great YouTube channel. He did a great video about how Binance actually handled it seemingly great. You know, they reversed all of the fraudulent trades. You know, they basically ended up costing the hackers money, and most people came out okay. I'm sure there are exceptions, but very encouraging, since Binance is so important for so many people who are involved in trading. But and then at virtually the same time all that's happening, we get this SEC announcement. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I read that announcement, and you know, it did raise a couple of flags for me. Number one, you've got let's look at all the episodes of FUD that have happened, and we don't need to go over this. Jamie Dimon and India and China
Yeah.
and every, Madagascar FUD. It's all out there.
My mom.
I know Madagascar is pretty heavy in the market. So basically, you're gonna have a lot of things that happen at once, and the one thing that a lot of people probably don't know is that those things happen at a critical time in the charts. So I want to bring this up so you guys can see this. There is a hard support at 10,400, and all the TA that everybody was doing said it was going to hit that support and it was going to bounce up. Okay, I mean, it was. I could go back and resurrect the graph showing certain things, but it's all right here.
Yeah.
Right where I'm going to put this circle. Okay, this is what we want to look at, and look, I don't really believe in too many coincidences when it comes to big banks manipulating markets and fraud. When banks, fraud, and manipulation are all spoken of, I kind of figure they're all the same, culprit, right?
And the deep state dropping announcements.
Yeah, like they're dropping them while it's hot.
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
It's not good.
Maybe it's related.
Yeah. Oh, you think? Out comes Columbo. I'm not really sure about this, but like most of our audience doesn't know who Columbo is. All right, so right here, as this was going down, what was expected is this green cloud right here.
Yeah.
That means it's bearish and support.
Yeah,
that's
bullish.
part of our Ichimoku. Bullish. Thank you. Gosh,
meaning we think it's going to bounce and go back up.
Right. It's a bullish support. Not only did we have a bullish support there, but this at the time, this blue line in the Ichimoku was above the red line. This is TK bullish, right?
Right.
So I mean, I looked around at all the different people's TA, and it's so funny because like most people are not right about their Bitcoin technical analysis. We call that TA here in the biz, and
the biz.
But most people's TA did agree that everything was bullish, right? So you have it right at this critical moment. This is a make or break moment in a market where, like, say, a problem would arise. And so 3 very large problems all arose at the same time at that exact moment. And I just can't believe that it's coincidental.
Yeah.
And then the SEC came out after this, quote unquote, the rest of the world is going to call this, oh, Binance got hacked. No, Binance didn't get hacked.
It really didn't.
Got phished. So they didn't check their websites before they entered their information, number one. And number two.
Yeah, and it was a long term. It was people were putting the pieces in place for months to do what they did. And they didn't. Yeah. They ended up shaking the market, but they didn't end up actually making any money off of it, which is interesting.
I mean, who knows? But I'm sure someone made some money somewhere because Bitcoin's tanking.
Right.
And you think about it this way, like, so people have the idea that Binance was hacked. It wasn't. There was a phishing deal and also third-party APIs. Long story short, it wasn't Binance that got hacked. It was people who were sloppy, and it happened on Binance. But then all of a sudden, the SEC's thing that comes out the next day, their official statement is, oh, and by the way, things you should know about trading, we consider these to be securities. And I mean, I didn't say those exact words, but that's what it sounds like to me. But what they did say very clearly was, if you're trading on a place that is not SEC registered, then we cannot protect you. Oh, any of those in the news lately? I don't know. Okay. Binance, Satan. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's they're just so filled with motherly care for us. They want to protect us all the time. So it's it just didn't hit me as them actually caring about investors as much as it did adding FUD to a situation that was already filled with FUD.
I use mother when I think of them, and when I speak of them, I use the word mother a lot. And it sounds a lot like mother fudders, which is probably just as accurate.
Mother truckers.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Mother buggers.
Mother buggers. So hey, look, that's
I just as a Christian, I have like a million ways to fake curse.
Right.
So work on it.
Working on that first. So,
baby Jesus still sees the curse in your heart, but it sounds better. The other Christians don't judge you as bad.
Right. Well, your kids aren't hearing you cuss. I think that's probably the big part.
I try. Not that I've never been that good at it. But no, that's extremely helpful. And I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but when I see, things like this. And with Mount Gox, you know, you've got, you know, there's some people who've gotten in some big trouble. I mean, the FBI's up to their eyeballs in that as well, right? And so you've got all this sort of deep state connections there, right? You've got the SEC, you've got the Mount Gox trustee, who is, you know, the person who's been put in charge of their finances. And so maybe I'm crazy, but to me, that's actually kind of encouraging, right? To see that what was happening here wasn't people who are excited about crypto losing interest or losing faith, but rather just when things started getting really heated up over the last couple months, they come in and try to stomp it down.
Well, yeah. I think the FBI, and we're gonna go way out here.
Oh boy,
let's do it.
Not too far. Well, we know that they had a ton of Bitcoin from when they made all those arrests over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And the word on the street, you know, knows if you really trust the word on the street, but the word on the street is they sold it.
Oh,
so, and they sold it some time ago. So I think the FBI is FOMOing. So basically they're going to, you know, like I'm sure that that's not the main thing that happened, but
interesting.
If you look at major things that happen, conspiracy technically means a bunch of people are all getting together to do something. Like,
yeah.
A conspiracy is as simple as we're all going to throw a surprise party for somebody. Technically, that's conspiracy. And everybody gets all these like, oh, you need a tinfoil hat. When I propose an idea that all the most powerful money movers in the world want to work together to preserve their wealth. I mean, they call it a conspiracy and they call me crazy. And it's just, I don't know. It kind of seems like logical to me.
Seems more than probable. Yeah.
I'm one of those people that calls Cowboy crazy a lot of times.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what are you talking about right now, man?
Yeah. Well,
all I'm asking right now is, what do you want to eat? Why are you talking about this?
Why are you talking about global warming and how it doesn't exist anymore?
I just want to eat.
So he's like, what are we having for lunch?
Yeah.
What does the CIA want you to have for lunch, punk? Globalist scum.
You globalist scum.
Was that like a Star Wars reference?
I don't know. It's just the way I talk.
No, he goes, oh, in Star Wars, you rebels.
Oh yeah, rebel scum. Yeah. See, it's so deep in my nerd psyche. It just comes out.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Come out of the nerd closet. Come with us.
Yeah. Very okay. So, yeah, very, very interesting. And I don't know. I know we've been saying this for weeks. I mean, dude, you guys have been great on your TA, your technical analysis. And we've had several occasions over our Monday and Friday broadcasts where all the TA was pointing to strength coming back into the market, particularly in Bitcoin. And then we would see these crazy crashes. So the Mt. Gox story is pretty helpful. You know, it's sort of like almost like a little bit of a relief to know that there was someone strong arming the market behind the scenes. What do you guys think this means moving forward? Do you think now that all this is out there, that the near future maybe is a little brighter?
I don't know, Z. What do you think?
I think so. I mean, it's, you know what, like, the FUD is becoming less and less dramatic to the market. At least from what I see. You know, every single time there's FUD, of course it shakes the market, and of course you're going to get, you know, weak hands or so forth. Sure. But you know, if you compare, like, people don't realize that even in the span of time that Cowboy and I have been in this field, the market has not dipped nearly as much as it previously has. Like before, you know, I think at one point Bitcoin had like a 90% retracement. I mean, that's a significant loss. So even at this 50% retracement, 60% retracement, it sucks. But I think that it's getting less and less damaging, and I think that all this news is coming out. Yeah, it's gonna start pumping up.
You know, I always notice. I mean, November is sort of where things really started to skyrocket, and these last couple months, I've just been looking. When I look at my own portfolio, it's like, wow, if I had a straight line from the beginning of November to today, my mind would be blown at my portfolio. But knowing that at one point it was, you know, way in the stratosphere, it takes a little bit of the joy at it. But the truth is, I mean, if you just go from there to today, it's still been incredible growth. and you know, the next wave that I feel coming in my bones, I think is going to blow our minds. So I'm pretty excited. And you know, we're coming to this point. One thing we didn't bring up, Cliff High released his latest report this week, and you know, I haven't thoroughly digested it, but just a couple times from what I remember from my first just sort of rushing through it, he brings up the fact that you're going to have these new companies that ICO'd who were legitimate. You know, there's a lot of people are so hard on ICOs that they're all scams and stuff. But the truth is, last year we saw some amazing companies ICO, and they're getting closer and closer to releasing their product, right? Whether it's a lending platform, a factoring platform, a wallet, an exchange, whatever it is, or some kind of product or service that's connected to their token. And he brings up in the report, pretty soon we're going to see a lot of those things actually come to market. And I think that's going to be huge when people see the usefulness of the blockchain technology beyond as a means of exchange like Bitcoin or Litecoin. They're going to see that you could really build a new kind of economy on top of this thing.
Correct. And I think the first real strength in blockchain technology is going to be supply chain usage. You know, I keep saying it over and over. I think supply chain coins are going to be hot in 2018. And so, you know, for those who, you know, I'm not going to name a few because I'm going to say that for the trading room, but I'm just going to let you guys know that there are a lot of supply chain coins out there. There's a few of them that, you know, Cowboy and I have our eyes on, and the room knows about, and these are going to be, they're going to be winners. I mean, they're just very, very solid. And that's the first, like, you're starting to see these like articles that I'm posting up within that room. You're starting to see these large companies looking towards their supply chain being on the blockchain, because, you know, at the end of the day, it gives, you know, clarity to their investors, as well as it gives, you know, there's a lot of safety factors that it helps out with.
Yeah, this brings up something we haven't emphasized enough. You guys are great with your technical analysis that you bring into the Watches Trade Room, but you also have, and you know, technical meaning looking at the charts and seeing what's, you know, watching the volume and the different indicators and figuring out what you think is going to happen. You guys have been awesome with that, but you've also been awesome with your fundamental analysis, just looking at these different companies and technologies that are coming out. Looking at who's running them and just spotting some up and coming companies. You guys have been great with that. So.
Correct, and I think that's what a lot of unfortunately, that's what a lot of traders lack. You know, I mean, that's definitely what I lacked when I first started. Was that, you know, it's quick to learn technical analysis, and technical analysis is great. You know, it takes some time to finite it. Of course, you're always learning on that, but a lot of people forget about the fundamental analysis and even the sentiment analysis that comes with these coins, and you know, that's like the next step in you know, your crypto journey, is really understanding what exactly is happening in this space.
And you know, we've talked a bunch of times about how you guys structure, and you both do it a little bit differently, and I have my own way. But you have your coins that you hold and that you're building a supply of, and then you have your you guys, I like how you call it your bag. You guys have your bag that you trade. That's live. It's in the market. A lot of it's going to be on an exchange, and you're going to be working it to try to increase it. But the fundamental analysis is great for figuring out which coins you're just going to try to increase your holding of for that day when it pops. And so that's very very helpful. One more thing, and then we're gonna make an announcement, and you guys can talk about whatever you want. But this SEC thing, this story they came out with, they were talking about, and I don't know if there's one story that has 2 points or two different stories that each have their own, but they were talking about how we discussed this, how you're in danger on the exchanges. They also had a story out about talking about how all tokens are securities, which we don't have to get into now. But it brings up something important that we teach on the crypto school, and that's important in the Watches Trade Room, and that is the importance of learning how to use decentralized exchanges. And I know one of the things on the other side, the educational side, which is a different product from the Watches Trade Room, the educational side of the crypto school, a lot of people come in and they just want to know how to use something like Ether Delta, or now the sort of current version or replacement of Ether Delta. What is it called? Fork Delta?
Fork Delta.
Yeah, I used it myself. I'm going to make a video as soon as I can. By the way, the reason I wasn't here last week is because my office floated away in that storm that hit New York last Friday. I had a flood, which flooded out my finished basement, which included my office. So once I get back up and running, I want to make a video or two on Fork Delta. I used it the other day, and it's like Ether Delta without the suicidal thoughts. That's what it's like. It's like Ether Delta without developing like a narcotics dependence while you're using it because of the stress.
Oh boy, trust me, I know that.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. One of our videos on the school is 45 minutes of me suffering through Ether Delta, and I just kept it as an educational tool to say, oh, here's what happens on Ether Delta.
The first time Cowboy showed me Ether Delta, good Lord, I wanted to kill him. I was just like, what are you doing? You telling me to buy Very here? Like, dude, I can't even get my Ethereum on here.
You can't even get anything. What is going on?
It's taking me like an hour to get a buy order on.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you know, Delta is like the first time I used it. You know, $500 was a fair amount of my portfolio in those days, like a lot. Yeah. And so, you know, what I always do when I send money to a new place, I send like $20, and then I know if that shows up, then okay,
make sure the wallet's working and whatnot. Yeah, I do the same thing.
And I was so new to the game. I saw Ether Delta from some guy's YouTube video, and I've been working on other exchanges like, you know, what do you call it, Poloniex and Bittrex. And I look at Ether Delta, I'm like, dude, this looks like freaking Pac-Man. I don't know what this is, but if I can buy what I want here. So I hit the button and I accidentally sent all $500.
Oh,
right. And look, Ether Delta, molasses flowing uphill in January is faster than Ether Delta. Okay.
Yeah.
Even in those days,
it's gotten way worse.
It's
I mean, now it's just, I don't think it even works. Is it working at all now?
Did you guys see the what's called the ICO they were hosting, and they were having a token sale?
For Ether Delta?
Yeah, they were going to tokenize Ether Delta, and I think they raised like $1,000.
And wasn't it like a week after they had that denial of service attack that people.
Yes, and it raised $1,000.
What timing? We have a bunch of users lose thousands of dollars. Let's do an ICO. It's like fire your marketing department. You know, sometimes
but I had like a yeehaw moment though, because I sent that $500, and I remember like I called Z up right then. It's both he and I were new into the game, and I'm like, dude, and I told him like everything I just told you guys. And I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna show up. And then like it popped up, and I'm like, yo!
You want to know what Vegas feels like?
Seriously though, that is
you want to know what Vegas and cocaine feels like?
That's great.
You want to bet on snowman?
Yeah. The reason we brought up Ether Delta was not to trash it, because I appreciate what they were doing, because it made it possible for us to get a hold of so many tokens and coins that were not available anywhere else. Things like Very and Populous and PayPy and Pillar and stuff like that even to this day, some of those aren't on any credible exchanges or any exchanges that you'd want to deal with. And now we have Fork Delta, which is a working version of Ether Delta. And from what I could see, it's working great. I mean, I don't know everything about it, but I was able to go on in there and do my trades. It still had some weird things happen, but it was usable. But the moral of the story is, if the SEC wants to be in control of all of these exchanges, you know, things along the lines of a Bittrex or whatever, you know, how much more important that you learn how to use slightly more complicated but still very functional decentralized exchanges that can't be controlled by government or anybody else, like Fork Delta and some of the other cool ones that are coming out. And that's something you can learn about on the Crypto School.
Dude, Ether Delta, I made a killing. I made the most money in this game I've made on Ether Delta. So I mean,
extremely important to learn how to use it if you're into cryptos. There's no way around it.
So when this thing happened with the SEC, like I'm thinking to myself, okay, there's always game out there, and the playing field isn't completely controlled by whoever. So decentralized exchange, the way it works is like if you are running an exchange and you're one person, and it's centralized, then the government can come to you, threaten you, blackmail you, or coerce you into stopping. So the decentralized exchanges are literally hundreds or thousands of computers that are all mining these transactions and smart contracts. It's much like a cryptocurrency in that decentralized fashion. So essentially, barring 10,000 agents going to 10,000 houses and computers listening to guns, then, I think we're probably going to be able to operate on those. So I think that, Frank and I and Crypto Z are going to be focusing on learning how to do that in the case that we got to take our ball and go home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we're not so interested in being protected by Mother SEC.
So, mother coders.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Joe Pesci. See, you dumb motherfucker, you. You want to take my Bitcoin? You want to get me off the exchange? Bam, bam, and you start hitting him in the head. That's Joe Pesci does that.
Pretty good. Pretty awesome. So you guys got anything else you want to go over, or I'll make our little announcement here?
Take a look real fast, actually, Cowboy, at BTC right now. It's actually stepping up right now on the short.
Yeah, it is. Let me bring it up on.
You see a mini reversal right now happening. A nice reversal happening right now on the short.
I'll expand this, Z, so you can kind of point it out.
Oh yeah, forgot I was sharing your screen.
Yeah, you're not directing. But yeah, go ahead and show them what you see.
So right there, for those looking at Cowboy's chart right there, you see a nice double bottom right there, which is plain as day. You see one right there, and then you see another one right there, and as you can see, the previous double bottom that happened, I guess earlier on the 9th, or between the 8th and the 9th, you see a nice giant step up, and that's essentially a reversal. So then it went up, and then it went back down, and then once again it's double bottom again right now, and it's rising back up now. But the difference right now is that now there's another indicator that's playing into BTC's favor right now, and that indicator right there is that TK crossover, utilizing that Ichimoku indicator. Now this is a very, very powerful indicator, and on the 30-minute, which is still a relatively short time frame, so I don't say this is a true point of entry. When that TK crossover happens, it is technically a point of entry for a coin. That's technically this indicator right here. When those two lines cross, signals a point for you to enter into the coin and buy into the coin.
Nice.
Now, remember, this is only on the 30-minute right now, so this is not talking about BTC as a long. Now, if we were to see this on, like, let's just say the 3-hour, this would be a great sign.
I brought up the 4-hour right now. It's coming up.
Yeah, so the 4-hour right now, let me actually pull the 4-hour, but it's a little blurry for me.
Here's the thing about it, is that on the 30-minute, the TK crossover looks good, and it's going to essentially be valid for 15 to 30 minutes. But if you look at the 4-hour that I've brought up, it's the TK is actually bearish. So
it's actually doing the opposite. It actually did a split, where it did a split on the 8th. So yesterday at 4 p.m. was the point of exit for Bitcoin. So just like we talked about with the TK, with the blue line crossing the red line, going up as a point of entry, that signals a point of exit.
Right here.
Yeah, there's right there as well as right there, further down, Cowboy. Yeah, right there, correct. So that's actually a point of exit. So it's a tough call right now. There is a chance that BTC could potentially be starting to build up a little bit of momentum.
Yeah.
However, if you have to look at the long position is calling BTC to continuously be bearish.
Yeah,
and
if you look at right here, on the 4-hour that we brought up for Crypto Z, we do have an indication of what might be some temporary bullishness on the 4-hour, because we do have TK that doesn't look that great. However, the Kumo cloud is rather thin and getting thin up here to the right, and what that means is that I don't know. I mean, it is going to like what's called a bear cross, so that's turning red, and that's not good. But on the bottom, this could all change. This price could punch right through that cloud. Remember, we're not using just one indicator. We don't just rely on Ichimoku, which is one of the best indicators out there. But you have this this moving average convergence divergence, aka MACD. And down here, this yellow line is curling up into the red. Okay. So when those two moving averages cross in that fashion, where the shorter one becomes, if you will, concave and begins to cross the longer average, that is a bullish move. You have RSI, relative strength indicator. Once the RSI goes to the bottom here, it means that it's oversold and it's probably going to go up. Mind you, it went to the bottom 2 days ago and then yesterday, and it just keeps going down. It's not a perfect indicator, but one to pair it up with is actually this stochastic RSI, and it's a misunderstood indicator. People treat it like it's RSI, and without getting too far into the details, because we actually will help people understand this in the trade room, we're giving you a taste of it so you can understand what's available to people in the trade rooms. Frank and I do videos, Crypto Z and I do videos. This RSI here, just in the nature that it's going upwards, that actually means that it is bullish. And the fact that this yellow, I'm going to fix the screen here, but the yellow and the red are crossing that 50% mark. That's when you're truly going to become bullish. A lot of people think that if it goes up, it means, oh, they're curling up, it's bullish. No, it's not. It's just less bearish. And these are very important distinctions to make in this game, lest you buy when you shouldn't buy or sell when you shouldn't sell.
And, while you guys are talking, I'm thinking for our listeners, you just got to think to yourself, wouldn't it be awesome if at any time in the day I'm looking to make a decision, or I'm wondering if now's the time to get into something, looking at the overall market, wouldn't it be great to have a couple of experts by your side showing you what they're thinking, right? Not waiting, hopefully someone will put a video out tomorrow and tell me what's going on. And you guys post constantly. I'm always impressed by it. But really the latest sharp insights that these guys have into the market, that's what you're going to see for your education, entertainment, and edification in the Watch's trade room. And so can't emphasize to people enough, V is always talking about how this is the opportunity of a lifetime, and it really is. The crypto market, we've had a rocky couple of months, but there's life-changing. This is a life-changing, not just life-changing. Life-changing could be losing 40 pounds because you went on a keto diet, right? We're talking a total transformation of the outlook of your life for generations, potentially, if you can learn about and understand what's happening in the crypto markets today and over the next couple of years. And so the Crypto School, if you want to learn more, we would love for you to check out thecryptoschool.io. That's don't forget the definite article is very important here, thecryptoschool.io. And we've got a bunch of different things there for you. We've got education. You'll see that we have our core curriculum there. That's a one-time fee. And then you get lifetime access to all the new content that I put out, content that Crypto Cowboy puts out with me. We'll be putting out some more trading educational videos very soon. I'm sure Z is going to jump in there eventually and to drop some knowledge on us. So that's the Crypto School. But then, of course, there's the Watch's Trade Room, which we've been talking about. And we're making an announcement today. I know you guys talked a little bit about this, I think, last week when I wasn't on. Here's the thing. We're going to probably make a very detailed announcement about this on Monday when we're on again. But here's the thing. We've been talking about our introductory pricing for a while. And that is, we wanted to give people a chance to check it out at a ridiculous, insulting price. And we've been doing that. It's a subscription service. This is talking about the Watch's Trade Room. We've been doing that now for, I guess, about a month we've been at it.
Yeah, I think it's been 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks.
3.5 weeks. Yeah, the window's closing on that. I'll tell you this. If you want to try it out at that introductory pricing and get at least your first month at $149.97, you've only got a couple weeks left. We're closing that door sometime in April. It might be April 1st. It might be a little bit after that. But we're only going to accept a handful more people or cut it off very soon in April. So if we get a certain influx, we're gonna stop offering that introductory pricing. So it could happen at any time, but certainly don't wait. Now is the time. We're in early days of March here, and so March 2018. So get in now, because the price is literally going to double. very soon. So now is a great time to get in that room. And still, the price that we're raising it to is ridiculously affordable. Those of you who've ever participated in any kind of room, the pricing we're offering, even our next tier that we're going to bring it to, is incredibly affordable. And I've never encountered guys as professional, as exciting, as helpful as Crypto Z and Crypto Cowboy.
You need to
in
get
our
out
room.
more, dude.
So actually, I have a little bit of info. I actually did a little like case study for myself on the room's performance. Since our last video, I invested $1,000 strictly to this room, just following the calls out. And right now I'm up to $265 off of that $1,000.
So wow.
So I'm up $265 as of right now. Now, you know,
That's incredible.
That's
since the last time we went live, which I think it was Monday? Was it Monday, Tuesday?
I think you guys went live on Monday.
We went live with Monday with V, correct?
With V, yeah.
And yeah, so I went, I just dedicated $1,000. Now, of course, I'm in it constantly, so maybe I performed a little bit better than some people, but overall, I mean, if you look at the trading room being what's the price for a trading room right now? 150.
It's just under 150 right now.
Yeah, just under 150. I mean, right there, I paid for myself for the month.
You did, yeah. And in 1 week, you almost paid for what our price is going to. Which
correct, and don't forget, guys, this is a bit.
In the future.
Correct, and don't forget this is a bear market, guys.
I was just going to say, the fact that you made money following the trades in the room, that's your trades and Crypto Cowboys trades. What have we been talking about this entire show? We've been talking about how impossible this market has been, how much it's been crippled by market manipulation, and still the trades that you would have seen if you actually followed all of them, if you what's the word I'm looking for? If you imitated what these guys were doing, you would have made money. That's incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, just last night, I mean, Cowboys shot out a call on Litecoin.
We're going to talk about that. I actually have charts up. We're going to go into that in detail, but there's something that I want to impress on people. Okay. Crypto Z and I are in this world. Now, this is all we do. We know what all the other rooms cost. The cheapest of all the other rooms, with a few exceptions, is around $300. And that's the cheapest. And they might shoot out like a few calls a week, and it's mostly on Bitcoin and Ethereum. I mean, yeah, you're going to find some better ones in there. I'm not saying they're all lame. I'm just saying I've seen a number of other call rooms. I've been in a number of other call rooms. And what we provide here, most call rooms cost that much, and you don't even get to ask questions. It's simply bling, here's your call. And there's no one to ask. There's no one to teach you anything. There's no one to show you anything about charts. There's nothing. Yeah. We're actually on here all the time. We're providing far more information.
These guys are educators. You guys are educators. Yeah.
So, and at this point, this early in the game, when this thing gets up to a certain level of people, you can't even handle it anymore. Two guys.
Yeah, we're gonna shut it down eventually. We want to offer a great product.
We're gonna cap it at a certain number, and that number is a relatively low number. We're gonna find out what that number is for this room, and we're gonna go with it.
Yeah, it's not that far off if you think we've only been doing this for 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh, I could see it happening next month.
Yeah.
Like without a problem, because what happens is that people get in right now in this bear market, and they're not really looking to get into anything because it's a bear market and they're scared. When things start to take off, and everybody and their mother's hamster,
and they're forgetting to wake up in the morning and saying, "Oh, I could have made 40% if I had just gotten a few of those. I could have made 200% this week if I just did that." Those days are coming back, and they're coming back soon. So now's the time to get in, folks. The price is going to be going up soon. And I would recommend, listen, we're talking, like I said, we're talking about something life-changing here. The Watches Trade Room is awesome. I would recommend, especially if you're new to the crypto world, I'd recommend the 1-2 punch of getting the lifetime access to the Crypto School core curriculum, which is basically just all the videos that I make and the traders make for your education. But I would also add to that the monthly subscription of the Watch Us Trade Room. So I would do both. That's the 1-2 punch. Get in on the one-time payment to get into the educational part. That's the core curriculum where we're constantly adding new videos and content to it, but also join the monthly subscription. And if you're saying, I'm not sure if I want to do it or not, now's the time to try it out for just under $150. You can cancel anytime. There's no long-term commitment there. You can cancel anytime. If you don't like the first month, you finish out your month and you say goodbye. We're seeing almost no one do that. Almost no one.
1,000%.
Yeah, which is crazy. You know, I mean, you know, we've all done a lot of things. It's to see people stick it to be and in this market, people are staying in the room. They're enthusiastic about it and they're getting a lot out of it. So now is the time. Do not wait. Go to thecryptoschool.io. You wanted to take a look at Litecoin before we go?
Yeah, that's
and real fast too, Cowboy. I think Bitcoin is going to start stepping down.
Yeah, we'll look at that too.
You think you've got more downside?
Yeah, I think I'm like monitoring right now on the short, and it looks like almost like on the very, very short, it almost looks like a mini Head and Shoulders, and it looks like the head finished forming.
We're going to get into that, but let's stick with Litecoin for a minute. So this is the current graph. I tried to recreate it and I just found what I put in, the call room so we can kind of see how this goes. So I'm looking around yesterday and I'm getting ready for a meeting, right? And I'm thinking, okay, whatever. I'm talking to Z. Z and I talk all the time. And I'm like, dude, do you see that volume spike on Litecoin on the daily? Well, yeah. And so I'm thinking, okay. So I take a look at it. And basically yesterday I build it'll click over in a second here. I build this chart. Mm-hmm. Okay. So if the new chart came up, this spike right here.
Wow.
Right. I saw this. And
this
so
is hourly? What is this?
This is it's right on here. I'm not used to reading it this way.
15 minutes.
This is the 5-minute chart, I think.
Oh, there it is. 5. Okay.
So yeah, but I saw it on a much longer chart, and I took it down to the 5 because that's just what I do. And so I did. I don't want to get too far into why I do it, but sure. So I went up here and I did what's called a Fibonacci retracement, right? Mm-hmm. And so I looked at this prior support. I basically said, okay, well, there's a support right here, and I even drew a line across here. That is in addition to this Fibonacci level, which is just a key level mathematically. Whenever there's a big run, you take a look at these levels. I saw support there. I saw this Fibonacci level. I saw that they matched up, and I told everybody I was going to buy and I was going to look for an entry around 0.01872. That's what I said I was going to do. And I did. And so basically I had to go into a meeting. So I actually set a buy order there. And when I did 0.01872, where is it? It's right about here.
Oh, wow.
Too. So this
That's
is
awesome.
Litecoin. This is where I bought in right here. Now I'm going to make this graph a little bit different size so we can get perspective. And basically,
wow.
Yeah, I'm going to shrink these down. I'm going to actually blow these up. Yeah, so you always want to buy right before these happen, but the problem is you don't know when those are going to happen. Right. I kind of have an idea when they're going to happen because this is all Z and I do all day long, especially, for me, charting is, I think, let me put it, Z, correct me if I'm wrong. You chart because you need to. I chart because I love to. That's kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Cowboy has an addiction. I pointed that out in the room the other day when he was just firing off coins.
Oh yeah, that's right. Like the other night when I put on.
Yeah, the other night when you're just firing off coins, just to fire off coins like charts, and I was just like, "What is going on right now? Like, why am I all of a sudden looking at 30 coins?" I mean, that's great.
Yeah, not a bad problem to have for a guy who.
No, it's not a bad problem.
Yeah, it's better than hookers and blow, right? Except for at the time. All right, so this little circle here that I put here, that's actually where I bought. And I set a buy order there and walked away, which is not recommended. But, I'm confident in my TA. And if you look at this support right here, it goes perfectly through there, right where I bought it. It didn't go much lower than that. And then we go all the way up here. And now we're at 2080. And, everybody's pretty happy about that. And anybody who has the same TA as I do, because right now everybody's losing their shirt. And I just made I don't know, I think it's roughly 10%. So,
very cool. That's awesome.
You know, those are the kinds of things that we do in the room, and
wouldn't it be cool to have experts like this telling you what they're thinking, sometimes moment by moment in the room? So go to the cryptoschool.io, folks. That's where it is. That's where the learning is. That's where the Watches Trade Room. And yes, it redirects to remaincomschool.com. Don't freak out. Is
it in the description? It wasn't in the description before.
Oh, I don't know. CJ, you set us up today, so I don't know. V's been putting it in the description.
Oh, okay.
Thecryptoschool.io. And if you scroll down the page a little bit, there's a video there that shows you what we do. And the Get Started video, if you're confused about the pricing or you're confused what we have available, we have 3 things, folks. It's really clear. We have the Crypto School Core. Can you scroll down a little bit more for me there, man? The Crypto School Core, that's our curriculum, and you could learn all about it on the site. We have our community Slack. That's a troll-free support room where people ask questions and post news. That's very affordable. It's only $4.99 a month. And then if you scroll way down a little more, we have our trading chat room. Watch us trade with Crypto Cowboy and Crypto Z, and you could click there to learn more. And so those are the 3 things that we have offered. And just watch a couple of our videos, and you'll know what they're all about. It'll be really, really clear to you. And we would love to have you in the Crypto School. We would love to have you in our Slack chat rooms. And when we say watch us trade, we're doing 2 things. They are posting, and this is all in text. It's not like a live stream. You're not watching them sit there in their underwear with their coffee at their computers, which would be horrifying.
You don't want to see none of that. You don't want to see any of that.
They're posting in one place. They're broadcasting out their trade calls. They're saying, here's what we're looking at. Here's the coin. Here's where to get it. Here's where we're getting in. Here's where we're getting out. Here's our stop loss. And then posting usually a screenshot of a chart. And then in our discussion group, they're answering people's questions, and they are awesome at that. So that's thecryptoschool.io. We would love for you all to check it out. And I think that's all we've got for today, CJ.
Excellent.
Thanks so much for hosting us, man. We really
it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So all you Rogue Money fans, thank you so much for tuning in today to Rogue Coin, Crypto Mayhem with Cowboy Z, Cowboy, Crypto Z, and Frank. Check out lots of great information, and great job today, guys.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. Take care, everyone. We're over and out.
Take it away, CJ.